My baby done changed. She done changed the lock on that door. My baby done changed. She done changed the lock on that door. She said the key you've got won't fit this lock no more. I went home last night about 10:30, tried the key in the lock, but I couldn't get it in. My baby done changed. She done changed the lock on that door. She said that key you got won't fit this lock no more. Well, I called my woman up. Honey, what do you want me to bring? She whispered real low, don't bring a doggone thing. Well, I crawled out to the window just to see what I could see. My baby had a young man, sure enough wasn't me. My baby done changed. She done changed the lock on that door. She said that key you've got won't fit this lock no more. My baby done changed the lock on the door. Made famous by Sonny Terry, but actually written by Casey Bill Weldon. He wrote a song called Somebody Changed the Lock on My Door. Sonny Terry and Brownie McGee sang it as My Baby Done Changed the Lock on My Door, but essentially they're the same song. You'll also hear a great version of this by Rai Kuda and Taj Mahal on their album Get On Board, and that album is a tribute to an album of the same title by Sonny Terry and Brownie McGee. Now this one is just a simple 12-bar blues, though there is one little catch towards the end that you might have spotted. Really, this one is not difficult to play. We're going to play it in the key of G, which is nice and easy on the baritone, but this one is much more about the groove and the rhythm of it. So it's a great one to practice that with, because we're not too worried about lots and lots of chords or difficult chords. We're focusing on the groove and the riff and the energy that gives the song. So chord-wise, we have a G, we have a C, and we have a D. There are big three chords in the key of G. And to begin with, at least, we're going to do a straightforward 12-bar blues. So let's just run through the chart, put the chart up on the screen, and play along with me. We're just going to do a simple rhythm to start with. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, G, 2, 3, 4. Here comes the C. Back to the G. Here comes the D. Back to the G. Now you can probably already tell that we just played that together. It worked great, but it didn't have that spark. It didn't have that energy. So we're going to fix that now. We've done a little bit of this before. This kind of shuffle rhythm, this little back and forth, adding a note and taking it off. We did that on Before You Accuse Me. So if you want to go back and have a go at that one as well, it does a similar thing. But on this one, we're going to shuffle on all of the three chords. So what we need to do, first of all, is find that note. So if you play your G chord, and I like to do it with my little finger, but you could also do it with your ring finger. What we're going to do is we're going to add the second fret of our D string. So we get the open D string in that G, and then we get the second fret. The chord stays the same. I don't let go of that. So I'm just adding a note here and taking it off. Rhythm-wise, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. That note is only on for one strum if we do that rhythm. Up, down, up, put it on, up, down, put it on, On that down, up, down, up, down, we add that note and then we take it straight off. Spend a bit of time just doing that on a G chord. Getting the nice swing feel. So we're not going, it's bum, ba bum, ba bum. Delay those upstrokes, make it swing. This is where the magic is in these songs. It's the simple little details that make one version of it sound so much better than another. Right, now we need to do the same thing on the other two chords. Well, on our C chord, we're going to add the second fret on our G string, which also looks like an A minor chord. So do the same thing. Start with your C chord with 2 fingers and add your ring finger on the second fret of the G string. Same rhythm. Up, down, up, down, up, down. Add it there, on that down. And then we go back to our G. One more to go, and that's our D chord. We're gonna, it's a bit trickier this one, so we're gonna take our little finger and we're gonna add it on the G string at the 4th fret. Now your first finger's already on that string. Don't take that off, just add this one on the same string. It won't matter what's happening behind it. So we get this kind of shape. There's our D chord, and we add our little finger here. Now that's a bit of a stretch, and if you really struggle with that, particularly on the longer scale of the baritone, then you can always miss out the shuffle on this chord. It's not the end of the world. But if you can do it, so now we've got all 3 chords, we can do that shuffle. So let's play through the whole thing nice and slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here comes the C chord. Back to the G. Here comes the D. Back to the G. I can't stress this enough. Live with that rhythm for as long as you can. You know, before you even worry about chord changes, just get that rhythm in here, and in here, so that you can do it without even thinking about it. Because when you sing over it, that's got to kind of keep happening automatically. Right, let's just sing through the first verse, and then I'll show you one more thing. I'll do it while we're playing. See if you can spot it, and I'll show you what it is when we have a look at it afterwards. Here we go. Now don't forget, this starts with my baby done, and then we come in on change, so you don't even need a counting. My baby done changed. She done changed the lock on that door. Here comes the C. My baby done changed. She done changed the lock on that door. She said that key you got won't fit this lock no more. Did you see what I did there? On the second line, when we went back from the C back to the G chord, I immediately went back to the C. Just very, very quickly. It's not really a chord change, it's more of a little riff, a little pattern. So that second line, starting from the C chord, my baby done changed. She done changed the lock on that door. Is what I did. You can do that anywhere, but it's really effective if you just do it now and again, and maybe if you just do it in that one spot every time round. Just in that last bar of the second line. Now there's just one more thing that's a bit different about this, and this is something very common. The more you listen to old blues records and the more you play these, you'll start to realise that even though it's just a 12 bar or just an 8 bar or just whatever it is, sometimes it isn't. Sometimes a bar gets chopped off or a bar gets added. Particularly solo performers could be very free with how they change chords, because It just had to go with their vocal. That was the important thing. On this one, it's a lot simpler. On that last verse, I called up my woman, honey, what do you want me to bring? We just keep going on that one chord, that home chord, the G chord, for twice as long. Effectively, we repeat the first line of our chart. So when we get to that one, it does this. I call my woman up, honey, what do you want me to bring? She whispered real low, don't bring a doggone thing, stay there. I crawled out to the window just to see what I could see. My baby had a young man there, sure enough wasn't me. My baby done changed. She just changed the lock on that door. Don't forget that little. She said the key you've got won't fit this lock no more. So what happened there was we essentially repeated the first 4 lines. But a better way of thinking of it is we just stayed on the G until we got my baby done, and on the word changed, that's when we went to our C chord. So you'll have songs like that where it might suddenly just riff on one chord, and you have to listen out for that. My baby done changed, and that's literally, it says changed. So when you hear the word changed, that's when you change chord. Finally, I used that C chord, the one we used towards the end of the second line as our little riff when we went like this, C. When we went back to the G, quick C chord, we can use that as an ending. So the last line, she said that key you've got won't fit this lock no more. So it's almost the same rhythm as our little shuffle, but instead of putting one finger down, I put both of them down. I'm keeping my little finger there, by the way, when I go to the C then. And in that little riff, because there's no time to take it off and do that. However, I don't keep my little finger there when I'm doing the shuffle, because it just makes life easier if you're doing that shuffle not to have another finger down. It makes it much harder to lift your ring finger up and down. I highly recommend you listen to Sonny Terry and Brownie McGee, and also to the great Ry Cooder and Taj Mahal's version, which is the first track on their album Get On Board. It's a fabulous, really high energy, stompy, swingy version of it. I hope you've enjoyed this, and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.